but it's later Guardians of Icarus League Day 3. John Barrow's first team up is the Sword versus the Rusty Busty Lusters. First ship for the Ducks the Sword is the Build Me Later, a junker piloted by NH Rydr. Artemis Hades Artemis and Get Motor on the other side, and it's LA Galleon, the Release a Kraken piloted by Blackened Pies. Hades Lumberjack heavy flag on the left side, Howard heavy cabinet on the right, and the flare on the back. Go ahead, Urz.
And on the blue team, the Rusty Busty Lusty, we have the whatchamacallit, piloted by Spudnik. It is a Watchafish with left side flamethrower, right side Gatling, their ally, the Occam's Razor, piloted by Nietzsche's Mustache, a Blenderfish with left side Artemis, right side Banshee.
Artemis isn't Banshee. Very popular, apparently. The reason I don't take Moonshine on Team Obula is because the engines are so spread out that only one person can repair one engine, at least during engagements. And when you really want to move back and forth, or you have to use Moonshine very often because you're fighting a maneuverable ship, like a junk or goldfish in close range, then your engines are going to take so much damage that you cannot move at all, I think.
I guess that's why I don't really like Kerosene so much, is because, sort of for the same reason, because Kerosene's kind of advantage is that you can leave it on longer, but by leaving it on long, like, your engines are not going to be able to repair during that engagement, so you can't leave it on that long to begin with.
But you can still make use of that bursting, and it will do less damage than Moonshine. Anyway, the Rusty Busty Lusters are currently facing the Sword kind of a distance, and they're just rushing forward inside these armor times, and they release a Kraken already turned for its closure guns. Whoever gets disabled first will probably have an advantage, and the Watch My Clip gets the first disabled on the Galleon. While the Bill Me Later just lost his balloon. These goldfish just disabled, alright.
Yeah, and it looks like with the Galleon now sort of disabled.
It actually got disabled on the Watch My Clip. Carrying destroying the balloon, and then somehow destroying the goldfish watcher.
Yeah, this is one of the issues with the double goldfish, is you don't have a ship with a lot of killing power, especially against something that's tanky like a Galleon. So I'm wondering how the Rusty Busty Lusters plan to finish off these red ships.
The Galleon seems to be focusing the Razor to get the cabinet off of the junker, so the junker can actually fight back, because his balloon is constantly being destroyed.
Yeah, the release of Kraken's kind of been isolated. So this is a good chance for blue. Like, let's say they had, say, a Gap Mortar on one of these ships. This would be an easy kill on the Kraken. Occam's Razor actually holding, holding the Watcha for the armor break.
They were reloading very long. You got the armor before, too much thermal damage, but now the Banshee actually destroyed the armor and doing some thermal damage of itself. 1/3 of thermal health left for the release of Kraken. And the Balloon just works back up and is probably getting ballooned, is losing his balloon against the cabinet, yeah. Gallon's armor is destroyed. Just getting damage going in there. Yeah, I think the way for Goldfish is to win is just in 1 versus 1 through constant disable against the enemy. And just, I think that's what your Watcher is for. Oh my god, it actually just lost armor against the Junker. Yeah, with the enemy shooting back at the Goldfishes, they cannot really reliably disable the enemy as well as they're trying to do. And they really need to isolate them completely, and the Camelfish could kill the ship by grounding it out, even though it's kind of losing the armor against the Gatling. And the Watcherfish is just making sure that the Camelfish is not getting shot at by anything.
Yeah, that grinding strategy doesn't. It would probably work pretty well against the Junker, although not as well against a tankier ship like the Galleon. Although it still can, as if you have some hull armor.
Oaken's Razor, Gatling, Mortar. It could drop here. Oh, that tank in it. The armor came up instantly. Twice now.
Yeah, and you see that, like, you have a Blunderfish versus a Junker in a 1v1, and the Bill Me Later is still managed to turn around the situation and get the high ground. Like, that's something you wouldn't think should happen.
The gun is actually kind of shooting back at the Blenderfish every chance it can get to help his ally Junker. And This makes sure the goldfish can't actually ram the chunk on the ground. They can actually lost the armor again. They're a tank with 2 people on top though. As you can see there's still a guy with turning engines and one of the guns to shoot back at the blenderfish, while the watchfish actually destroying the galleon bit by bit, and this could actually get a kill here, and they did. Yeah, I think the galleon got enough support shots on the Occam's razor that the junker would not actually grind out like it should have. But now it's left all alone. But it did a surprisingly amount of permanent damage against the Occam's razor, and if the armor drops once in that goldfish, it could just die instantly.
Yeah, I mean, that is the power of Gap Mortar. It just has such strong DPS. All you need is just a couple seconds of an opening, and you can do significant,
Banshee and how
significant
much is going in,
damage.
and it just dies. So yeah, 2-0 for the Rusty Busty Lastas against the sword. With a ship that could die very quickly if it does not watch out.
So, when it comes to double goldfish, do you think heavy caro paired with a watcha is the best way to go? What do you think about double heavy caro?
I would like a double heavy caro on it, but I mean, you saw what the galleon did when it got up the sailboat the watcher. It actually went lower with the bill later, while the bill later's balloon was destroyed to help his ally by being at the same altitude. And if they had double heavy caro on it, then the galleon's guns wouldn't be destroyed at all, and he could just shoot freely at the other goldfish. So I think the watcher in this case is a better idea than double heavy caro on it, because then the galleon wouldn't actually be able to shoot when it's at the same altitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess that means their strategy is primarily going to be to try to split off the blender with the junker and maybe go for some type of ram kill while they're keeping the galleon locked down with the watch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I don't know. This is sort of a weird game, at least from like a ship tier perspective. Because I felt the galleon's been pretty weak for a while, and the goldfish also, but the goldfish does very well against the galleon, so it's sort of like a weird. You could almost call it like a low tier like matchup situation. Like if you imagine double goldfish against, say, like mobulas, wouldn't the mobulas just eviscerate the goldfish in a matter of seconds, like through sheer DPS?
I mean, a lot of it depends on how the engagements are happening, and if the galleon manages to stay at this range and altitude, it can always get a kill on one ship. With its heavy guns, it's not that hard to kill a ship with a cannon to watch. It just, if in a 1 vs 1 the galleon would surely lose against the goldfish. I don't think there are too many people that would say otherwise, but when it's in the 2 vs 2, you saw the galleon did not concentrate on the ship that was shooting the galleon. The galleon shot in a completely different ship in the 2 vs 1, which I think makes it more fearsome when you leave the galleon's guns alone for a second, that it can kill a ship very quickly still. And the Duck's gunners, they are well practiced with the guns. They are going to hit if you give them the chance to hit. So we can see the Occam's race just trying to go from cover to cover, almost lost its armor completely against the haters.
Yeah, this is more of a, I guess, terrain advantage for a red team, being able to stay in their own spawn rather than kind of charging across the map as we saw leading into the last engagement. It looks like Occam's Razor is going to be sneaking up behind.
I wonder how much it's going to be doing if only they can it.
I mean, they are spotted, so...
The Nugs instantly
Galleons
turn for the Occam Razor, knowing it has very little perma health left.
Yeah, these goldfishes really need to find just a nice timing window where they can both engage at the same time. They're sort of...
Whatchamacallit is getting very close to the galleon at the moment. Unspotted too through these clouds. Getting a very nice Hawacha disable against all the guns of the galleon. And
Yeah, potentially managing to save the Occam's Razor for a moment, letting them repair their balloon.
oh yeah, they actually dropped down. But this leaves the whatchamacallit all alone here. And it, even though it did manage to disable the Gallon, it did not manage to disable the Junker. And while it's disabling the Junker, the Gallon is repairing his guns and is going to shoot in a second. The watch is already repaired in the Gallon, as far as I can
Yeah,
see.
Occam's Razor might be joining this fight in a moment, which could turn the tides. They'll be able to lock down one of these ships,
Bilminator
potentially.
is completely on fire. Poor Junker. But yeah, whatchamacallit just lost the balloon and it's losing armor against the Gatling, and Occam's Razor needs to do the best to distract the enemies long enough.
Yeah,
Which it is
actually
doing.
going for a little bit of a ram, I guess, trying to disrupt
Which opens
the
him up
Galleon's
against the
gunarks.
Bilminator very easily. Easy get motors, just obliterating that little bit of hole that's left. And the whatchamacallit just now needs to disable and escape, I suppose. And this is Bilminator losing armor. This is apparently the disadvantage when not having a kill ship. That when one ship dies, you have to escape. There is no get a kill at the last second or anything.
Yeah, they will be able to escape here unscathed. So, I mean, guess that is one advantage to the double goldfish is when one you gets taken out, typically the other one will be able to find a route to safety very quickly. So at least you're only giving up one kill rather than a full team wipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the heavy guns too, you can disable one ship and then, or possibly with the Caravan, you could disable two ships and just reverse both of them and be up there forever until the other comes back.
Looks like the Ducks might be taking up the same position they were. Kind of this. Well, the Galleon's moving a little bit. They might actually be. Are they going to be moving into the canyons?
There might be, there might actually be, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the Galleon benefits so much just from the open air, because this being in the canyons just gives a lot of kind of close range obstacles and terrain for the goldfish to kind of maneuver around and abuse. But I guess they're confident.
I guess the mindset is the Busty Lusters would not expect the team that just camped in their own spawn to actually
Oh,
move forward with them.
the Galleon's actually flying over the double goldfish.
Whatchamacallit is looking for disabling a Gallon before it
Oh,
turns his close range guns to it. But the
bad
Watcher gets
Watcher.
disabled. And now the Gallon is shooting her Watchers and carrying it at the whatchamacallit. And the Occam's Razor asks the best to help us out. It actually destroys the Gallon balloon. But it just drops them in arc for the whatchamacallit. So they keep shooting it. Which is counterproductive. And oh my god, the whatchamacallit just eating all the focus fire of the ducks. And just dies.
Yeah, whatchamacallit tried to escape through through the gap in between the spirals, but they actually lost two of their engines, which I think caused them to not be able to complete the maneuver and fell back into the Galleon's gunarks. Again, we have another situation where one of the goldfish goes down and the other one just has to immediately try to escape. Ooh, a little bit of a bump, but immediately try to escape.
And it still needs some Hades and Artemis from the Bilminator. And I really might actually die here. Galleon now also shooting back at the goldfish. They did get some very good disable against the engines of the goldfish, so it would not be able to escape that easily.
But yeah, those actually, even though they didn't manage to secure the kill on Occam's Razor, that was some pretty nice focus fire, kind of given the situation with the two ships separated and the goldfish trying to juke around. They actually did a significant amount of damage.
And
that might have been a little unexpected by the blue team.
This engagement is what I was talking about earlier. If they don't manage to get the Sabalcha disabled on one ship, both of these ships can just shoot at one ship and kill it, pretty much. And this is basically what happened. The Gallon just having free roam of shooting. I mean, the whatchamacallit was down, Bloom was down, and the Gallon Bloom was destroyed. But they just made sure the Gallon keeps being an arc for the goldfish and just shoots back at it and keeps it disabled with one more heavy gun that the goldfish has.
I almost feel like maybe the blue team needs to be a little more conservative with their engagements, just trying to poke out a little bit with the heavy carried and back off to try to drop red team's altitude before they go into full on engagement.
But they're sending their Watchman forward instead and hoping that his full out haul is going to give them some time to go in, but it's actually taken almost all of the haul.
Oh,
It just
just a great turn from Release the Quacken, just lining them up beautifully with the close range side of the galleon and obliterating that
space are
goldfish.
just going above both of these ships. Still spotted, but oh my god, a bad bounce against the mountain. It might actually just cost him. Yes.
Yeah, I can feel Matt. I can just hear Mad Maverick off somewhere. Just he got like a little twinge in his ear when he doesn't know what it is, but he's pretty sure somebody just messed up trying to ramp it on Canyon.
Yeah.
It's so bad when you try to go over that cliff and miss.
And especially it's so far above so close to the hate ceiling that you really need to go very, very high, and sometimes you get pushed back down if you're going above the wrong part of this mountain. You just get stuck up there. And the ducks not leaving any room for error and just punishing every single error they Busty Lusters make.
Yeah, it looks like we have actually lost the galleon pilot. Black and Pies has disconnected, so the ducks, the sword, they're requesting a pause. So we'll have a few minutes of downtime probably. So one thing I noticed a little bit interesting, that Nietzsche's mustache on Occam's razor, he's actually bringing moonshine for this goldfish. And I feel like maybe this is hurting his mobility because, I mean, both these red ships do have some pretty strong disable. I mean, the double Artemis on the Junker in particular is going to be doing not inconsequential amount of damage to the engines. So I feel like Moonshine might be a little ambitious, and if they had kerosene, they could probably engage it a little more frequently than they have been.
I mean, if they go to just get the optimal engagement, which they were all pretty much having in the first engagement, then it wouldn't matter much between Mooch and Kerosene. But I think, yeah, when they want to escape, the disable is gonna be much quicker because the engines are already so damaged. They just can't escape at the second they get hit by anything. I know some people just take Moonshine because they like it more. I prefer kerosene on most ships, but that's just me. Because I constantly burn my pallet tools, and I still want to be able to move, and Moonshine wouldn't help me at all. This is why I can't fly power medians. It requires Moonshine, I just can't use it. Impossible.
Can we have a moment of silence for the fallen Pyramidian after
Oh, yeah.
1-4? What a bummer. As someone who previously mained, well, I don't know if you call it if it's called maining, but who previously mained Pyramidian, at least it was the ship I felt most comfortable on piloting. That was a real disappointment. That balance patch.
Yeah, they got a nerf in acceleration, turning acceleration, I think, or was it longitudinal?
I think it's charging top speed. I don't know.
They increased the mass, so I think acceleration was the most thing that got.
Well, I think even
changed.
more important was the whole armor,
Yeah, the whole health was it.
whole health. Sorry.
It's very close to a Junker's whole health now. I think just 50 HP above it. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you have a game developed by a data-driven startup. They see, oh, look at this high percentage of people in pub games playing Pyramidians.
Well,
I guess we have to nerf it so less people play it.
it's just all this. Most of these people are inexperienced people. They don't know anything about patch notes. They're not going to be bothered by the nerf because they don't know about it.
Exactly. The reason why the Pyramidian is so popular It's just because it's the easiest ship to crew. It's the easiest ship to pilot. The guns face forward. It's very simple.
Yeah,
Whereas something like the
compared to
Mobula,
Goldfish and Junker, in the most matches you only have Goldfish, Junker, and Parmesan. And the Parmesan is by far the easiest to choose in the ship, so they're going to stick with it, of course. And Moose is just nerfing the ship that's the most comfortable to fly on for these inexperienced new people.
I felt like even before the nerf, the Mobula might have been the best ship in the game. Certainly, like I think it's insane to say that the Pyramidion has been overpowered in 2015 at all. It certainly the Mobula was at the same level, if not better. And now with the most recent nerf, like Pyramidion, just it's hurting bad. At least in high level matches like this.
Yeah, Parmesans now pretty much have to make sure that the armor never is down, because before you
It's
could
basically
destroy
like an
Parmesan
ambush
very
ship,
easily.
right?
Yeah, before you could pretty much kill the Parmesan before its armor came back up already. But if you tanked it, the Parmesan would be able to survive. But now it's if you don't have two people instantly on the armor, it's going to die. The Parmesan, there's no way for it to win. So it really has to. It's really depending now on the disable and the optimal engagement of not being shot at.
It looks like we do have the match now unpaused. Ducks were aware of the Busty's positions as Busty decided to kind of charge the other side. They're behind some terrain now, deciding how they want to re-engage. We only have less than 3 minutes left on the clock, so it's going to be tough.
The Busties are not spotted though.
The blue team's down 3 points, so they need to get a full team wipe on Sword probably in the next like 20 seconds or so if they want to have even a chance of winning the match. Because even after a full team wipe, they'll still need to get another duck kill to secure the 5.
And it's going to be very hard for these goldfishes to get any quick kill. I mean, I guess the Junker could die rather easily against the Camelfish, but it's just so high and there's so much ground to drop on down here. And actually, the bosses don't really have a good engagement to begin with. The Occam's Race are very close to dying already against the focus fire of Hades, lumberjacking flags, and half of its spell is gone and the balloon is down, and oh my god. They're not able to make both the ships stop shooting.
Yeah, unfortunately they just don't have the time to wait for a good engagement. They have to go for it. And this one already off to as you're saying, a pretty bad start with Occam's Razor.
Almost down, and yeah. It was Gatling by the chunk and Tabacha by the Gala, and this Goldfish could not survive any longer.
Yeah, we sort of had the game start off with almost looking like it was going to be an upset with the Busty Lusty starting off with a 2-0 lead, but the Sword managed to pull it together and pull ahead with 5 straight kills in this match. They're now currently 6-0. They are undefeated in this Goyle League tournament.